Barcelona with pace, tactical precision on the day. Robert, was this one of masterclass from Maresca, or are we looking at a new, genuine Champions League contender in Chelsea?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a one-off because we've seen types of these performances from Chelsea again. Remember the Club World Cup final where they beat PSG 3-0 as well. So, yeah, I feel that Chelsea could be the real deal. They seem to be built for tournament football. They won the Conference League as well last season, and they're doing well in the Premier League, second. And they face Arsenal on this weekend. So, yeah, that will be another tough test. But, yeah, big things ahead for Chelsea.
All right, Pep Guardiola made 10 changes for his match against Newcastle, and it clearly backfired. Beg your pardon, did the squad rotation, did it cost City that much? Or, I mean Leverkusen, I beg your pardon. Or did Leverkusen simply outplay Manchester City in that encounter?
Yeah, I think, well, Manchester City, they had just lost to Newcastle, so maybe Guardiola was making a point there, making these changes, but he possibly didn't show Bayern Leverkusen enough respect. I mean, they're still a Bundesliga team, one of European football's top 5 leagues, so I think he showed a bit too much disrespect, possibly, in choosing that lineup, and yeah, that team didn't look like they gelled with too many changes, and yeah, but credit to Leverkusen for producing the win.
All right, Judechi, making 10 changes, is there a problem somewhere at home?
Again, I missed the question. You say making 10 changes.
10 changes for Manchester City. Do you think there's a big problem at home?
I absolutely disagree. It's Manchester City we are talking about. When you play against teams in the Champions League, it doesn't matter how big or how small, you are still Manchester City, right? So everybody expects that players on your bench are as solid as your regional starters. So I don't think it's an excuse as to why Manchester City lost this game. And also considering the fact that their game over the weekend is going to be against, I think, Leeds United. It's not one of the very top Premier League sides. So there really is no explanation to why the coach would have wanted to make such changes, aside from he just wants to rotate his squad. So it's expected of a team like Manchester City to still step up at home at Etihad, irrespective of the players on the pitch of play. So I absolutely do not agree that there's any excuse to losing in front of their home fans last night.
All right, let's look ahead for today's fixture. Robert, Mikel Arteta has acknowledged that Arsenal Champions League tie with Bayern Munich will be an important benchmark to assess your progress. I'm wondering why he did say that. But from your perspective, what specific aspects of Arsenal's performance should we be assessing to truly measure how the team has come on so far under Arteta?
It's more about just getting the result, to be honest. The performance doesn't matter in these big games like this. It's all about the result, whether the goal comes from a set piece or whatever. But because it's such a big game, I think, because Arsenal in the big games earlier on in the season, they lost to Liverpool. They could only draw with Manchester City. So in these tough games, I mean, these are the top 2 sides in the Champions League. It's just goal scores that are separating both of them. So I think it's all about the result.
All right. Judechi, Robert just threw a jar about Arsenal saying the goals come through set pieces. Do you think that they have taken advantage of that particular position to score?
I mean, at the end of the season, it's always interesting to see when people bring this up. But at the end of the season, right, what determines if it was a great season or not is going to be if there's a trophy in Arsenal's cabinet. And so that's what the entire club is after. At the end of the season, it wouldn't really matter how it was done. I think it's usually a case of who wins at the end of the day. And if the team decides, oh, we want to use set pieces to get ourselves to all the trophies, then they should go ahead and do it. Because when Barcelona were playing Highline last season, it wasn't really much of a conversation. Teams have their low block, there are different styles to play football. Nobody says football has to be played in a particular way, right? So if the team decides to use set pieces to get themselves all the way to the finish line, it definitely is not a conversation when they eventually do win at the end of the day. So it's one of those football jokes that we like to make these days, but at the end of the day, what matters is the team does what they need to do.
All right, quickly, Robert, before I let you go, looking at the fixtures for today, which of them do you think would be a feisty one?
So let me just check. So who we got today? Yes. So yeah, well, of course, the Arsenal Bayern Munich game. That's the top two teams. That's going to be feisty. That'll be an interesting tactical battle. PSG Spurs as well. That's another interesting tie with the Premier League, and Liverpool as well. They're on a bad run of form.
Okay.
And then facing PSV, which could be challenging again.
All right, nobody mentioned Liverpool, but it's all good. I understand. Thank you so much, Robert Wheeler, for joining us on the show. And Jidechi, we appreciate your thoughts on the show. Do have a lovely day, gentlemen.